My name is Jacob and welcome to another segment of Raw and Uncut on the Abrasive Conversations platform. So in this segment, I briefly want to speak some of the Easter eggs, or maybe just two Easter eggs in the Kendrick Lamar album. So I hope you have some time to really get into the album. I think my initial thoughts was this is going to be a classic album and a masterpiece, and I really think this album kind of solidify his legacy and brings together his body of work until so far quite nicely together. So there's many Easter eggs in this particular album, as I mentioned in the previous Raw and Uncut section, but there's two that I want to stand still in this particular Raw and Uncut section. So the first one is the album is actually a mirror. So as you would be aware that the album is two discs or two CDs or two sides. So side one and side B is actually a mirror of each other. The music mirror each other, but also the song and the message mirror each other. So that for me was an amazing takeaway, and I only really felt that mirror effect when I started listening the album from N95. That's the second track. So I decided to play it from the second track, and then just listen through the album. So then it went all the way to the last track, which is Mirror, surprisingly, or now not surprisingly, and then it looped into the first track of it, and then I realized what he says in Mirror, he literally answers in the first track. So you have this continuous a loop of the album. So and that is literally the mirror effect that he has here. So and this is important because true Kendrick Lamar followers and fans or people who is invested in his project over the years have paid attention to the last tracks of his album. So for example, if you go through Kid Maad City, then you will realize right at the end of that particular album, he asks his mom to borrow the van and he will be back in 10 minutes. So, but the album doesn't start off, Kid Maad City doesn't start off with him borrow the van. It starts off him in traffic driving to hook up. And then the voice go to voicemail, and then his mom is asking him about the van. And right throughout the whole album, it's about the van. When are you bringing back the van? And his father wanting the dominoes and constantly keep leaving voicemail messages about the van. And right at the end of the album, it's revealed that he borrowed the van, and he said to his mom that he will be back in 10 minutes. Brilliant to keep you guessing about the van, and at the end he reveals, but not let the people or not knowing where the van fits in the album. So on Damn, he does a similar thing. So the album starts off with someone getting killed on the first track of the album. And then at the end of the last track, then it reverses all the way back to the front. So that is the interesting thing where he also played with the beginning is the end is the beginning. That type of notion. Do you listen to the album backwards, or do you listen to the album from the beginning? And if you listen to the album from backwards, it makes sense, and you listen to the album from the beginning, it also makes sense because it puts that loop on them. Another brilliant attempt of keeping his core fans or people who's following his creative work looking for those Easter eggs and clues in the album. On this particular album, he doesn't disappoint because the last track on Mr. Mural and the Big Steppers literally give it away, saying, look, these 2 albums, these 2 CDs that I gave you is actually a mirror. It's me looking into the mirror. So that's literally what it is. It's Kendrick Lamar looking into the mirror. So the first half of the first 9 songs is him dealing with his demons, and then the last 9 tracks is him realizing that he's the problem. This person in the mirror was the problem and has to do something about it. So that's amazing Easter egg, just that particular part of the album. So the second Easter egg is that these 18 tracks is actually 18 therapy sessions, which make the mirror effect even so more amazing. Is that it is 18 therapy sessions that he went through. So the first part of those therapy sessions is him constantly rebelling and still believing that he's not a problem. But then from session 10 onwards, and you will hear session 10 or track 10 opens up with saying breakthrough. That is where the breakthrough is coming. And he realized that he is the problem. There's a lot of things that he has to do. And I think one of the brilliant lines on this album is on Father Time, where he says, I got daddy issues and that's on me. So he has daddy issues, but he doesn't blame his father for all of the things that he as a man are failing at. It's on him. And I think that's a very good message for men in society, is that sometimes we want to blame another person for our mistakes and our failures. But the question that we have to ask ourselves is, for how long can we blame other people for our failures in society? If you were wrongfully abused, or something happened to you, like let's say 20 years ago, can you in your 50s still say, there was 30 years of my life that I didn't work through it because I wanted someone else to rescue me, or that person died before I could really get to him and got my revenge, or get him to admit that he was wrong. So, and sometimes we get stuck up in that specific part of being a human, is that we are hurt and we want to hurt another person the same way that we were hurt. Or we want at least them to recognize that they hurt us, so that we can move on. But in many cases that doesn't happen. So do you stay at that particular place, or do you move on from that particular place? And I think that line, I got daddy issues and that's on me, is a brilliant line where at one point you have to take responsibility for your particular life. So that is 2 amazing Easter eggs on this particular album, and there's many more that I can share. So if you came across some of the Easter eggs, please share it with me. I would appreciate it. I love his work. So if you come across any of the Easter eggs that I've come across, please share it, and let's have a discussion. So I think there will be more on these Easter eggs on this particular album, because I think there is much to work through, and I think this album really are starting much needed conversations in families, but also society. So soon I might have someone on this particular platform who is speaking about the album and its implications. Until we see each other next time again, thank you very much. May God bless. Bye-bye.